Hi, I'm Sifu Kuttel, and in this video we are going to be doing 8 Tai Chi exercises to develop strength and mobility in our shoulders. Now, this is a great way for rehabilitation for an injured shoulder or prehabilitation if you want to prevent shoulder injuries, and also a very good way to develop your Tai Chi. All of these are Tai Chi techniques, and if you're going to do them in a form, you can do a lot more if you have stronger shoulders with better mobility. Now, all of these exercises have been adapted for what we're going to use them for. So we're doing more gentle shapes and more circular, as well as we may be cutting a couple of things out so that we can do these back to back. But hopefully this gives you a good base if you want to use this in a direction for developing your Tai Chi in general. The main thing that we are doing here is we are adding a little bit of weight. So you have to pay attention to your shoulders needs. If it's painful, go for a lower weight or hold off on the weights, because even just holding these positions can work your shoulders. I'm going to be using water bottles for this. You can use free weights, you can use soup cans, anything that suits your needs, but again, pay attention to your body. Otherwise, grab your weights and let's get to work. Our first exercise is raise hands, and this is the exact same movement that you're doing at the beginning of the form. So I'm going to stand with my feet hips distance apart. I'm going to have my palms down. I'm going to bend the knees slightly, raise up the bottles up to shoulder level, and then I'm going to bring them back down and sink into my stance. Okay, so again, you keep those knees bent. We're going to come up and down on the legs as well. Raise up, 1, keep your elbows slightly bent, and down. Raise up, 2, and down. Raise up, 3, and down. Raise up, 4, and down. Raise up, 5, and down. Raise up, 6, and down. Raise up, 7, and down. And our last one, raise up, 8, and back down. For our next exercise, we're going to do repulse monkey, but this is one that we are going to modify. We're only going to do about half of the technique. We're not going to worry about bringing our hand next to our ear, pushing forward and pulling back. We're going to stay stationary. All we're really going to focus on is where we open up both hands. Now make sure you reach out as far as possible when we do this, and then keep the elbows level as we bend and bring in the water bottles next to our shoulders. Okay, now the last thing is, as we do this, try not to pull the hands back. You want to keep the arms forward, and you should be able to see it in your peripheral vision. Okay, so we'll start palms up, bend the knees slightly, bring the hands out to the sides, extend, up, bend, 1. Bring the weights down, so we have palms up, out, extending, bending, 2. Bring them down, out, extending, bending, 3. Bring them down, out, extending, bending, 4. Down, reaching out, extending, bending, down. 5. Reaching out, extension, good extension here, bending, 6, down, reaching out, good extension, bend, 7, last one, out, raise, in, down. For our next exercise, we are going to do fists to opponent's ears. Now again, we're not going to use our traditional Tai Chi stance to do this and shift from bow stance to bow stance. We're going to maintain our feet at hips distance apart and keep the knees bent. Now we'll start from down low, our hands next to our sides of our legs, and then we'll bring our hands up, turning our thumbs downward. If you have water bottles, it's just like as if you're pouring out the water. Okay, and then we'll return back down to where our thumbs point forward. So I'll slowly raise up until my hands are head level, and then I'll bring them back down along the same path. Okay, so let's do 8 of these. Raise up, 1, back down. Next to the hips, raise up, 2, back down. Raise up, 3, back down. Raise up, 4, back down. Raising up. Turn those thumbs, 5, back down, raising up, 6, back down, raise up, 7, back down, and raise up for our last one, 8, and back down. Our next technique is wave hands like clouds. So the main thing you want to do here is make sure you follow the direction of your thumbs and that both hands have your thumbs facing in the same direction. So we'll raise up one hand on top, and if it's your right hand, you want to bring it across to your left side to start. And then now we'll travel in the same direction as our thumbs, and then change. So we have that one up, one down, and then across. Make sure as you do this, you keep your hands at an angle out in front of you. We're not very close to the body. The more extension you have, the more weight you're going to rest on the shoulders, and you're going to have better reach in your forms. So again, when we make that change, we keep it out and then across. Okay, so we'll start, bring the weights over to one side, turn, and use the body to turn as well. 1, change, turn, 2, change, turn, 3, change, turn, 4, change. We're just turning from corner to corner. Turn, 5, change. Turn, 6, change. Turn, 7, change. Now our last one, turn, and 8. Our next exercise, again, is going to be modified, and we're going to do it in a couple of ways. We're going to keep our feet stationary, but we're not going to follow the exact same pattern that we would for a single whip. We're just simply going to match the end position where we have one hand out to the side and one hand straight forward. Now you'll notice I have one hand holding the weight flat, the other hand holding the weight straight up and down. So we'll bring our hands down next to our hips, and then we'll raise one forward and one out to the side. Okay, and then again and down. And then as I raise forward, you can see here, I keep it at shoulder level, and same thing with my front hand. I want to make sure I'm matching at shoulder level. So we'll start with the hands next to the hips, bend those knees, raise up, 1, down, raise up, 2, down, raise up, 3, down, raise up, 4, down, raise up, 5, down, raise up, 6, down, raise up, 7, down, and raise up, 8, and down. Our next technique is going to be parting the wild horse's mane, and we're going to be focusing on just this diagonal section, forward and back. Now you'll notice my beginning hand, I'm starting up at the shoulder, the other one at the hip, and my thumbs are pointing pretty much in the same direction. And then I'm going to bring one hand up, one hand down, and the thumbs are still pointing in the same direction. I now have the other hand at shoulder level and the other hand at hip level. To change is quite easy. I'm just simply going to turn my hands around and then go to the opposite shoulder and hip. So I close the body like giving a hug, and then I open the body and extend out, turn, close, and open. Turn, close, and open. Okay, so we'll begin. I'll start so that you can follow along. We'll make sure we start with one hand at the shoulder, the other hand at the hip. And then now from here, extending forward and then down, turn, shoulder and hip, bring it up, 2, turn, shoulder and hip, extend, 3, turn, shoulder and hip, bring it up, extend, 4, turn, shoulder and hip, bring it up, 5, turn, shoulder and hip, bring it up, 6, turn, shoulder and hip, bring it up, 7, turn, shoulder and hip, and bring it up, 8. For stork spreads its wings, we are going to focus on one side at a time. So we'll do 4 repetitions with one arm, and then we'll do 4 repetitions with the other. Now, in the form, you typically raise up as you're doing stork spreads its wings, and you're more than welcome to do that. We're still going to keep the same stance, and a good rule of thumb is when your weight is low, squat down. When your weight comes up, extend, so you can get a little extra leg workout on this. The last thing is, as we bring the weight around, make sure it stays in front of the body. We're not trying to go back behind the head. We're not going to reach back behind us. It should maintain the same circular plane in front of the body the entire time. The other hand should be pressing out and a little bit forward, not next to our hip. We want to still work this shoulder at the same time. So we'll begin with both weights out, and I'm going to keep the lid in the same direction as I come up, almost like I'm waving as I bring my hand across. I'm not going to turn the weight. Always my thumb is in the same direction. Okay, so we'll begin, cross the body, up, over the head, and down. That's 1. Bring it up, over, 2, bring it out, up, over, 3, 4. Then we come back down. Now we'll do the other side, so keep that forward pressure. Come across, up, over, 1. Back down, across, up, over, 2. Again, across, up, over, 3. Last one, across, up, over, 4. Our final technique is going to be hit the tiger. And this one can seem a little bit complicated because we are doing a couple of motions at once. But if you are to just continuously move, this is just as if you're playing a big drum in slow motion. It's just that we are going to turn from one corner to the other, and we are going to have a slight pause. Now, a good rule of thumb is if we're turning to our right hand is up. If we're turning to our left hand is up. So it's going to come down 1, and then bring the other one up, turn, down, and bring the other one up. So it's just a continuous motion, down, up, turn, down, up. Okay, and then when we end, they're both in front, and our thumbs will always face the same direction. So I'm always going to have my palms down. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to bring one hand over to the corner. It goes across the body. Other one comes up above. There's one, turn, bring one hand down, and the other one comes up. 2, turn, down, up. 3, turn, down, up. 4, turn, down, up. 5, turn, down, up. 6, turn, down, up. 7, turn, down, up. 8. Okay, so there you have it. Here are 8 exercises from Tai Chi movements that we can use with weights to develop the shoulders. Now, listen to your body as you do this. If you feel any sharp pains or long-term aches, those are signs that this is not working for you. It's actually working against you. So you should look at reducing the amount of weight or reducing the amount of repetitions. We did 8 through this video. You can always cut it down to 4 or even 2 and then take a quick break. If you're not feeling enough, then go back and do everything a second time. Or you can add repetitions. You can do upwards of 12 or even 16. But I really wouldn't go much more past that. You're not really going to get the benefit. I would say do the entire routine, rest, and then do it one more time afterward. Now, the last thing is, if you know Tai Chi forms, you can absolutely go and practice your entire form with weights. And the one thing that you've seen in this video is that there are modifications that have to be made due to hand position, but you'll find that it's not that difficult to modify, and you'll find it adds a new dynamic to your training. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next.